Hey everybody, this is Naya, the host and CEO of the Naked Hustle Show, and this post is about the web series. So, as most of you guys know, last Thanksgiving we dropped the Naked Hustle Show web series, and it got crazy ass reviews. Like, everyone loved it. Well, some of y'all, everybody showed me love and supported it. It was dope. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue that shit. So I kind of will talk about why, and good news, I created another one, wrote another one up, and I think this one is 20 times better, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. So just to clarify, everybody's like, what's happening? I saw a bunch of comments. Everybody's like, waiting on a second one. What's going on? What's up? I ended up getting fired in the process of taping that one. If you guys look at this scene where the dancer Shay is in the club and she's dancing, one of those nights we were at the club, I had total permission to be there and all of this shit. It was like a day when the club wasn't open. Let's say it was a Sunday, so I had permission to be there, and we're taping and everything is going good. The owner of the club let me know the system to get in and how to just kind of set everything up. Here comes my old manager. He just happens to be driving by or something like that, and comes into the club and is like, what the fuck are y'all doing here? And I'm like, well, we have permission. And he's like, well, there's open alcohol and that's illegal, and I'm telling on you. And I'm like, well, I didn't know we could put the alcohol away. Half of it is not even real alcohol. It's just like staged, but there was a little Hennessy and a little Patron there too. And he just kind of wasn't hearing that shit, and he almost got beat up because he was like yelling in my face and, oh my God, this is illegal, you can get us shut down. And I'm like, yo, I had no idea, and nobody without a key can get in. So it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to know? This is the first shit I ever tried to do like this. And he was not a nice person anyway, at least not to me. And so fuck him. And he ended up calling the owners or whatever, and I don't know how much maybe the owners told everybody else, and I know I definitely wasn't made aware of that. I shouldn't have had open alcohol or whatever, and it should have all been fake. But it resulted in me getting fired. So I got fired, so it was no more taping in there. And then the club ended up closing. Okay, so that one dropped in Thanksgiving, which we were shooting up to Thanksgiving. The club ended up closing. The last day was New Year's, so I wasn't gonna be able to finish it up in there like how I had written it out anyway. But the good thing is, like, after that, I just was like, fuck it, I have to rewrite it. I've gotten a little stronger and not necessarily perfected my craft, but that was just raw, some shit that I had in my mind. Since then, I've been studying up and reading a little bit, and I wanted to share with you guys the books that I felt like helped me the most. So during the time when I saw that this could actually be a thing, like when I hit like maybe 20K or something like that, I was like, yo, people are actually like fucking with it. And another thing that happened, like before I got fired, after the first one dropped, when we were recording the second episode, I kept getting flagged. So I was using music from people like fucking, who were we using? Like Trouble and like T.I. and just like ridiculously big ass names in music, and their labels were like, yo, get the shit out of here. Like, who are you? Do you have permission? And I did not have permission, but I did not know anything about what I had to do. I kind of just like head first into it. So it kept getting up to a couple thousand likes and then getting just shut down. So I was starting over. So once it stuck, and I figured out like which musicians and artists let you use their music even though you can't monetize, which respect, you know, thanks for just adding to my thing. It stayed up, and then once it crept to like 10 or 20K, I started paying closer attention to it, and then you guys started responding, and I'm replying, and it was just like, yo, I got mad feedback. So I'm like, okay, people are actually fucking with me, and let me read up and study and take some classes and learn some shit and figure this writing thing out a little bit so I can make the new one extra juicy. So the books that I've read in no particular order that are helping me, that I'm still rereading for January, are as follows. First, let me take a drink. And First book is by John Truby. It's the Anatomy of a Story, 22 Steps to Becoming a Master Storyteller. And blah, blah, blah. It says a Bible for screenwriters, blah, blah, blah. I'll skim through it. Blah, blah, blah. Own unique approach to building an effective, multifaceted narrative, the foundations of a story he lays out. Okay, so this one for me was kind of like the breakdown of a story. Naturally for me, things came, and I'm grateful that, like, as I was reading everything I was reading, it was kind of reiterating and reassuring a lot of the stuff that I kind of knew, but I wasn't sure if it was a thing or if it was just like in my head like that. If you're creative, maybe you can relate, you know what I'm talking about? Like, in your head it's one way, but is that like how it's, is that it? And like this book puts names on things that I already knew, but I just didn't know how to name it. And so I haven't gotten very far in this book, but it's sentimental to me because someone got it for me and I really wanted it, and it was hard to get my hands on in Atlanta. And it, like, basically a lot of it gives you synapses and it breaks down and it gives you examples with other movies that are super familiar. Crime and Punishment, Star Wars, Basic Instinct, A Streetcar Named Desire, Pride and Prejudice, and Emma, and just a bunch of stuff. It like breaks down components of screenwriting that maybe I necessarily hadn't thought about why I was doing things a certain way. And so the next one is, oh, you know when a book got all of these in it. This came from my good friend Mo. You gotta get a shot of like how many notes and marks and stuff is. This is like Bible to me. My friend Mo had it, so shout out to Mo because he is like dope. And I had part 2. I didn't have Foundations. Another friend of mine had gifted me the part 2 of this, which is blue. I'll leave the link in the bio, but I don't exactly remember the name of it. And he pulled up with this one like, yo, all right, trade. And I'm like, word, especially since it has all of these dope notes in it. So like it's easy for me to read through if I look through any chapter, and I can get his thoughts, which is amazing because I don't have to text him about every little thing. And it kind of even breaks down the plot points to me. So I appreciate it. Anybody who's like an avid reader knows like shit like this, it just makes it more interesting. I'm like, I'm reading it and then I'm reading how he's reading it. So that is to be appreciated. This one is more motivational to me. This is like, get it done, write it, worry about this, don't worry about that. Kind of is just like on some, it just ignites the want and like the passion. Like if you're passionate about writing and you read some shit like this, it's definitely gonna make you more confident. Like you'll feel like at the very least you'll be motivated to want to try some shit out. And so that I appreciate about this one. This is Sid Field, The Foundations of Screenwriting. And so it's the first one I got even before I started filming the Naked Hustle show, because I was going to take a class at Emory, and this was one of the books that you call, what is it called, like that? Yeah, this is one of the books that you had to read for the course, and it's a very easy read. It's called The Portable Film School. So I thought this would be helpful, as I didn't know who was going to shoot it. I didn't know anything. I just wanted to know everything. So this is a good all-arounder book. The Portable Film School for screenwriters and filmmakers. Everything you learn in film school without ever going to class. And that's like me. I need to know when I'm reading something. This was first. I need to know when I get into a project or something, if this is something I'm gonna like. So a book that like entails everything and tells you the whole Shazam this was a read that was enough for me to let me know to continue and actually go on and film. And it's by D.B. Gilles, I don't know, Gilles. Good luck with the pronunciation. I don't want to fuck it up too much. And so this one shows you about script writing, which was important because I didn't do that in the first show. If you go back and look, I think it's very obvious that it was a lot of improv. Even though it was good improv, some of it was horrible improv. It was a lot of improv. This is like next level when it comes to that. It tells you how to get everything done, to the like film set, finding people to help you, skits, sketches, whatever, like just putting all your resources together. And so the hardest, longest one that I started, and I'm nowhere finished. Look at this bad boy. This is The Writer's Journey, 3rd edition. And this also was one of the books that I had to read for the course that I ended up not taking because I thought I was grown enough to read the 2 books and get the information myself. So this one is The Writer's Journey. Mythic Structure for Writers by Christopher Vogler. And this one kind of like breaks down everything. So this is like character, just like plots and different types of characters and protagonists, antagonists, why you want to place what person where, like the whole kind of graphing and just like how a story should work, if it's going to be 3 separate, you know, parts. I'm still talking in layman's. I know there's way better writer vernacular, but like I said, this is me self-taught, looking for highlights and shit. But nothing is standing out to me right now because like I said, I have not gotten that far into this book because it was just like very intimidating to me initially. But it teaches you just about like fantasy worlds, new worlds, old worlds, reality, why you write what you write, and what would make the story the most interesting. So there's a lot of reasons to add and there's a lot of reasons to omit when you are writing a screenplay, and this book breaks all of that down. You know, maybe your character is not interesting enough. You won't know it. Once you compare it to some of the shit that you learned in this book that you read, you'll say, okay, well, maybe I need to jazz them up, or maybe I need to add a backstory, or maybe I need to take some of this stuff out because it's dragging or whatever. And so this was good, and this is the one that I intend to finish this month. And so for me, I don't know, it just makes me more confident. Well, it's not, I don't know, I know. It made me more confident, and I know that this season is gonna be doper, and I can't wait to present it to you guys. Like I said, I'm projected to start filming the end of January, and I will keep you posted, and I'll be vlogging the whole way through. That's enough. Peace, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.